Here she goes again. Hide your face, hide your neck, duck your head, wear an NFL football helmet when you are playing in a game versus DiJonai Carrington. Fresh off of clotheslining, a Kane and Undertaker clothesline from hell that she delivered to Sophie Cunningham. This girl is right back on the court, hitting people upside the head once again. This girl needs to be kicked out of the league. She's a menace to the league at this point, and it's unsafe for players to be out there.
Consequences. Let's break down exactly what happened and how DiJonai Carrington's actions could affect her reputation. To understand the magnitude of this controversy, we have to look at the exact moments that shocked the internet. For weeks, fans have been criticizing Carrington's aggressive style and expressing concerns about its impact on other players in the league to dial it back. But instead, she appeared to become even more physical. During tonight's intensely competitive matchup, chaos erupted in a sequence that left the broadcast booth stunned. Carrington delivered a hard, targeted hit.
Being dirty once again. The girl cannot help herself at this point. She can't help it. Take a look at this. Okay, you swing at the ball, but then you hit her all in the face with your other hand, and then you put your hands up like you didn't do nothing. You hitting her all in the face. Look at this. Watch her left hand. The right hand right here went to the ball. Watch this left hand. Like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Enough. When is enough with this chick? Come on. You hitting people in the face. It's over and over and over. How many times do we have to witness this with you? How many times? How many people are you just gonna, every single game, you are hitting somebody else in the face? Every game you're hitting somebody in the face like this, and that wasn't even the worst. Take a look at this play right here. This girl's a menace in the league. I'm telling you, she's a menace. It's unsafe for people to be out there with her. It's unsafe. Let's go here. Now take a look at this. You got Tiffany Hayes driving to the rim.
But the nightmare was not over. Just minutes later, as the tension inside the arena reached an absolute boiling point, it happened again. A second shocking and violent foul, with another defenseless player being taken down on the hardwood. It appeared to send a massive statement about how aggressively DiJonai Carrington was playing. She was playing without a helmet, showing what appeared to be little regard for player safety, and using an extremely physical style against the women she was competing against. The stadium erupted in deafening fury. Fans in the front rows jumped to their feet, pointing, shouting, and demanding an immediate ejection. The commentators on national television appeared stunned as they watched the replay on the monitors. You cannot play NFL-style tackle football in the WNBA. The referees, who had faced criticism over their handling of her physical play throughout the season, finally had no choice but to intervene. They blew the whistle, and the flagrant fouls were called. However, it was Carrington's reaction that became another major part of the controversy and further damaged her reputation in real time. When a player is called for a dirty play, the expected response is usually to lower their head and walk toward the bench. But DiJonai Carrington appeared to react with intense frustration. Witnesses described what looked like a major emotional outburst on the floor. She began arguing with the officials, waving her arms, and showing obvious anger. Then, before the referees could even finalize the penalty, Carrington turned away from her teammates and the thousands of fans in attendance and stormed off the court. She marched directly down the concrete tunnel, leaving her team during a live national broadcast. It appeared as though she had simply walked away from the situation. She became extremely upset and left after facing the consequences of the fouls.
Involving a collective bargaining agreement that explicitly states that the league is for women. Only players who are women are eligible to play in the WNBA. So one could easily surmise, okay, you're a woman, that makes you eligible. If you're not a woman, you're not eligible. It's simple and plain. What's the complication? The complication is that our society has devolved to a point where we're not clear what defines a woman. At least in the eyes of some. So while Royce White or Enos Cantor Freedom may be accused of trolling and engaging in mockery and being a bit ridiculous, fine. What about the WNBA? What about the WNBA? We will not be used as political pawns. When you gonna wake the hell up? I see what happened when this young lady got ejected from a WNBA game the other day for a flagrant foul.
The fallout was immediate, and buddy, it was completely catastrophic. The WNBA was suddenly facing intense pressure as criticism surrounding DiJonai Carrington continued to grow. For months, the commissioner's office and mainstream media commentators had defended her, arguing that fans were overreacting and that she was simply playing aggressive, intense defense. But after 2 NFL-style flagrant fouls in a single night, followed by her storming off the court, the controversy reached an entirely different level. At that point, defending her physical style became much more difficult, and the criticism from fans and observers became even louder.
Here, man. It's freaking ridiculous. It's disgusting. Let's get to what Dave Portnoy had to say here on Barstool in response to DiJonai Carrington. Okay, because he blasted. Not only did he blast Stephanie White, he blasted DiJonai Carrington as well. Let's get into it.
In the WNBA, this is a totally fine reaction, I think, to a play like that. And maybe the story ends there if Carrington doesn't go to the locker room, pick up her phone, and tweet white privilege, which is insane. An absolutely insane thing to say. Now, if you go watch other networks, I'm not going to say it on Fox, but ESPN's filled with absolute morons. Absolutely have a
Oh my God, yo, he's not playing.
All of morons sitting there discussing this play and talking about whether it was the right call and things of that nature. And they don't even mention the fact that she said white privilege. That is the story. The story isn't that she got kicked out. It's that she tweeted out white privilege as though because Sophie Cunningham is white, somehow that's why she got kicked out. They go on to defend her, the story, the narrative that she's not a dirty player. She makes plays like this all the time. I put together a little clip of DJ Carrington, who is definitely one of the dirtiest players in the WNBA. I don't know if we can roll it, but she's taken her long fingernails. She's scratched Caitlin Clark's eyes out. This is an intentional play. I went nuts on it when it happened. I don't know if we're going to have the other angle. This is a dirty, dirty play.
This girl has so many of these type of plays. We can list so many players that she's just done dirty stuff to. DiJonai Carrington is not half as talented as Kennedy Carter. And Kennedy Carter's out of this league. We can get this girl up out of here too. Let's keep it real.
Come down with long fingernails, gouge somebody. She's had multiple instances of chasing people down from behind, trying the same SWAT and smashing them in the head and causing mini fights. She pulled another girl's hair.
The internet has completely exploded, and buddy, the reaction has been enormous. Current and former players have taken to social media, expressing strong criticism over what they viewed as unprofessional behavior. Fans have also been contacting the WNBA front office, demanding a significant multi-game suspension without pay. The narrative has clearly shifted. Instead of being viewed simply as a fierce competitor, Carrington is now facing widespread criticism from people who believe her physical style could pose a serious problem for the safety and integrity of the sport. The basketball community is drawing a clear line in the sand. Either address this type of behavior, or risk losing the trust and viewership of millions of fans. But amid all the controversy, potential suspensions, and the dramatic events surrounding the game, there is one major storyline that deserves attention. Sophie Cunningham's earlier concerns are receiving renewed scrutiny. Do you remember when Sophie took that controversial hit weeks ago? Do you remember when she spoke to the media and warned that the physical play was escalating and needed to be addressed before someone was seriously injured? At the time, Sophie faced criticism from some people who viewed her comments as complaining, while others believed her concerns deserved to be taken seriously. But now, after Carrington's latest incidents were shown on national television, Sophie's previous warnings have received renewed attention. The issues she raised, including aggressive play, accountability, and player safety, have once again become major topics of discussion. Sophie did not even have to say a word tonight. She could simply watch as Carrington became the center of another major controversy. For many fans, the situation has become a striking example of how quickly public opinion can change when a player's actions appear to confirm concerns that were raised earlier.
Social issues, I'm all about liberalism. I'm fiscally conservative. I can't stand paying high taxes in New Jersey and LA, California. But I voted Democrat practically all my life. And that's not to say that I was right about doing so. Damn it. You conservative, you got good points of views. Ain't nobody hating here. Open-minded. And I'm damn sure going to be even more open-minded in the future because I don't like the direction this stuff is going. You got to have rules and regulations. You got to have law. You got to have order. You can't have this. Sure, the right is maneuvering its way through the terrain and making and politicizing this issue. It doesn't negate the fact that the WNBA left the door open for it to happen. They have dropped the ball. I'm talking about the league office. I'm not talking about the players. And now it's gotten to the point where everything about them is going to be politicized. Got the Florida Attorney General. Clearly it's politicized. I wonder if he would have said that if it was somebody other than Sophie Cunningham, who obviously has made a name for herself speaking up about the issues that she has spoken about as it pertains to protecting girls in competitive sports, which, by the way, I support her position on. If that had been a liberal or somebody with a liberal thinking mind in terms of that particular issue who spouted stuff opposite of what Sophie Cunningham would have said, would the Florida Attorney General James Uthmeyer would he have taken that position then? I don't think so, but I don't know. But
The internet has completely exploded, and current and former players are taking to social media, expressing their strong disgust over what they see as unprofessional behavior. Fans are also contacting the WNBA front office, demanding a massive multi-game suspension without pay. The narrative has permanently shifted. She is no longer being treated simply as a fierce competitor. Instead, she is being widely labeled as a toxic and dangerous liability who is damaging the integrity and safety of the sport. The entire basketball world has drawn a massive line in the sand. Either this behavior must be addressed, or the league could risk losing millions of viewers. But amid all the chaos, the potential suspensions, and the tunnel tantrums, there is one major storyline that deserves attention. Sophie Cunningham was right. She was, without a doubt, raising concerns about this behavior all along. Do you remember when Sophie took that brutal hit weeks ago? Do you remember when she stood in front of the microphones and warned the entire league that this behavior was escalating and needed to be stopped before someone got seriously hurt? At the time, Sophie faced criticism, with some people calling her a complainer. Others tried to dismiss her warnings and defend Carrington. But tonight, Sophie Cunningham received what many fans see as the ultimate vindication on national television. Everything she warned about, the targeting, the unchecked aggression, and the lack of accountability, was once again placed in the spotlight for the entire world to see. Sophie did not even have to say a word tonight. She simply watched as Carrington became the center of another major controversy. For many fans, it became the ultimate example of poetic karma. The player whose actions had previously drawn criticism from Sophie was now facing intense backlash across the WNBA, leaving the court and heading down the tunnel amid the controversy surrounding her actions.